One. What is up, everybody? It's Michael Lee Xrp here, and today I have a special guest, James Ray Xrp, representing Schmeckles. How you doing, James?
I'm doing great, Michael, and thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure. So today I'll be having an open discussion with James, somewhat of an interview. Going to be asking him questions, asking about the community, what they have ongoing right now, and just giving a breakdown on what Schmeckles is. So, James, how long has Schmeckles been open to the public, to the Xrpl community to engage with and participate in the ecosystem?
Definitely. So Schmeckles launched in November 2021. And I guess pretty short after we launched the token, we created our Twitter profile and started engaging with people through Twitter. We started making a few promises at the front end that we delivered pretty quickly. So things like creating our website, getting our white paper out there, having a roadmap forward of how we're going to deliver the project. And we've stuck to our guns since then. So it's been a great startup, a great commencement to the project. I guess we'd still call ourselves in that commencement mode. We're still very much at that front end. A lot of our development is still underway for the things that I'm sure we're going to discuss here today. But yeah, so November 2021 was that day the date that we really got started and started to build that community.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seems that y'all have really grown. I know that y'all have been engaging a lot on Twitter, doing giveaways. Y'all have been very active in the Discord and even Twitch. Y'all have been having streams on Twitch, playing games and giving the winners prizes.
Yeah, so a big part of Schmeckles being a community-based project was that we wanted to give away the majority of Schmeckles to the community. So part of that initial roadmap was to have two major airdrops of 25% each, but then have another 25% that we distribute through giveaways. So we've already done our first airdrop, which was that initial 250,000 Schmeckles. Our second airdrop's coming up on the 31st of March, which again will be another 250,000 Schmeckles distributed. The first airdrop was to all trust lines. And I'm not sure how deep we're going to go into the Xrpl, but that was a very interesting experience because we did experience those bots and we had to do a whole lot of vetting of different accounts. And despite all our best intentions, unfortunately, bots still did receive some of that airdrop. So we learned a whole lot from that initial airdrop. Our second airdrop is going to be to holders only, and that's partially to try and reduce that number of bots that sort of receive those Schmeckles. But yeah, we're just going to try and do our best. And we've got a white list, we've got a black list, but you don't have to be whitelisted to receive that airdrop. It just guarantees that you will receive it. So we're trying our best to try and ensure that community members are those that are receiving that airdrop. But of course, the best way to do that is with that third 25%, which is distributed through giveaways. So what we try and do with that is engage with the community and particularly those individuals that are showing that they are giving back to us. So that might be through something as simple as tagging their friends and sharing or retweeting our posts, or it could be people who are really spreading awareness about Schmeckles and teaching others about what it is. And we've got a few different people that we've found around the place that have been doing that, and we bring them in under our wing if we can, and we just say to them, like, would you like to be an ambassador on behalf of Schmeckles? You're already doing what we want you to do. And I guess something to add in there to people who aren't aware, there is a massive movement of individuals through Twitter who will ask for paid promotions. So they will engage with the projects directly and they'll say things like, we're a paid promoter, it's going to cost you 1,000 XRP to get a retweet or something ridiculous along those lines. And that's not what we want to do, because they're people who are just trying to make a quick buck sort of thing or a quick dollar. And we really want to only support those who support us, if that makes sense. We want to create that community, create that family vibe, those family feels. So we do that through the engagement. Now, I think we're talking just before we sort of went on record and live. So we do have giveaways that happen through text, so through either Twitter direct or through Discord. But we wanted to be more engaging, and that's why we went over to that Twitch model. So on Twitch, we play a game called Marbles on Stream, where all the viewers can sort of hit play and they get their own marble. that marble traverses through the map, and the first one to cross the finish line wins a prize. And it's just really engaging and really fun. And the community members have been loving it so far. Our last Twitch stream, we got about 50 different visitors into that stream at any one time, which was a lot of fun. And we gave away tokens from a whole bunch of different projects. So there was like Monks of Crypto, there was Gorillas Gold, there was Becky token, X Linden, Zoj came in and gave away like I think 10 billion Zoj during that giveaway. So it's just really fun and really, I guess, educational to our community members as well about what other projects are out there, what other projects are willing to sort of to put forward their token and spread their own awareness and do things similar to what we're doing. And it gets difficult at times because we can't really do all the due diligence on all of these projects that come along to our giveaways. But what we do is ensure that we're consistently telling our community that they need to do their own due diligence. They need to do their own research on everything they do. And that's not just with cryptocurrency, but we definitely encourage it with their crypto investments. So yeah, I guess just to make the statement now to everybody here listening, you have to do your own research with everything in life, and you shouldn't be looking to take shortcuts when you're investing in crypto. The Xrpl right now is young, it's new, it's fresh, it's fun, but it's also dangerous. And we've seen that with a number of projects, and I'll list Xburn is one of those that we've recently seen take a massive rug pull and really hurt a whole lot of investors. And we want to ensure that we are doing the best that we can to protect the community of Schmeckles, but also the other Xrpl community members. And I will constantly say this until I'm blue in the face: do your own research, make sure that you know where your money is going, or at least do your best efforts to do so. And you don't have to do that alone either. So something that I do often is engage with people and talk to them through what I would look out for when I'm looking for a new project to invest in. And yep, like you're getting up on the screen now, there are some individuals around the XRP ledger that do those sorts of things and act as sort of internal regulators in a sense, and they will look out for projects that aren't doing good things and sort of call them out, or maybe they'll even engage with a project and say to them, you're doing something that we don't agree with. And this gentleman here, I can never say his name right, Ripple, it's INNZ. I actually reached out me personally to him in the early days of Schmeckles, and I just said, hey buddy, like if you want to ever have a chat, I'm here. This is the project. This is what we're doing. Just reach out at any time. And he sort of said hello, and then must have had a look and sort of thought, nothing to see here, and moved on. So unfortunately, I didn't get his stamp of approval, but I also didn't get his stamp of demise. So sort of just a neutral interaction with him. But at Schmeckles, we're welcome for anyone to sort of come in and have a look at what we're doing. And I guess this is probably a good segue to say, I'm Australian, if you haven't realized through my accent. So Schmeckles is an Australian-based project, which is it's got its advantages, right? So right now in the US, we're seeing a lot of regulations around cryptocurrencies, and especially XRP, which is the mother of all the XRP ledger tokens, I guess. And XRP is having a bit of a hard time right now in the United States, and that difficulty isn't faced here in Australia. In Australia, the regulations are pretty standard across all cryptocurrencies, XRP regardless. So from our position here, we can do a lot of things and be very public with our business tradings, I guess you would call them. But it also means that we're under Australian regulations. So we do have a tax accountant who we work with very closely, who reviews our books. We're registered as an Australian business, and we do everything by the book. And it's something that I've been very diligent about. And I've got my face and my name to this project now in a public sort of manner. So I want to ensure that all the project's dealings are done correctly, are done legally, that we're going to, I want to ensure that we're going to have a long lifespan, and it's not just a quick 1 year project, or it's not a quick 6-month project, or it's not something that's just going to be 5 years down the track and then we walk away. I want this to be something that becomes a community hub forever. And when I pass it on to somebody else, sort of thing. I want Schmeckles to be around forever. And that is also the view of the team. And that is part of our I guess, outlay is let's make this a forever project. Let's do all the things right. And it does mean that we have to move slower in certain aspects. And that's okay. There's no expectations of time from our team besides ensuring that the community is knowledgeable about everything that we're doing. Whenever there's a question asked, we're open completely about where we're at and how we're moving forward. There are some confidential dealings that we do have, and unfortunately, we can't talk about those, but we will state that's a confidential dealing. We can't talk about it. We won't sort of just dodge any questions. So I don't know. I'm going on a bit of a tangent, Michael, so you might need to pull me back in because I can talk forever. I can talk underwater. So I'll take it back to you and you can sort of direct me where you want to go forward.
No, that was great. I appreciate you mentioning. Oh, you got to excuse that just for a second.
Not a problem.
Hey, just go ahead and keep talking.
Okay, as Michael goes and answers that phone. So the other 25% of Schmeckles, which I didn't talk about. So there's the first 25% which goes to Airdrop 1, the second 25% which goes to Airdrop 2, the third 25% which goes to giveaways, and there's the fourth 25%. So that's the 25% that's retained for the team. The idea there is, as the project progresses, we're definitely going to want to get listed on more exchanges. So we're currently listed on Swift, that's SWFT. So that Swift connection is fantastic, but we do want to grow as time goes on. So that final 25% will go towards things like exchanges. We'll go towards things like marketing, so we can build our community even bigger. We'll go towards things like development. So right now we have a new website under development, which has an e-commerce aspect to it, where right now you can spend Xrp to purchase Schmeckles merch, but we're trying to work on that to be Schmeckles paid for Schmeckles merch. So if you want to have a look at that, it's at shopschmeckles.com. So it's actually a different website. So you can just copy and paste that link up there if you'd like, but we haven't actually gone public with it. So this is a bit of an exclusive for you because it's still under development. So just give that link a click, see if that even works. Here we go. So this is the Shop Schmeckles page. This is probably the first time it's been publicly talked about or shown around. So that members area there, that's the plan there, is it's going to be where our game is placed. And the idea there is a big part of Schmeckles is to bring that youthful enjoyment and creativity people's lives and that happiness and joy that we all had as kids. So one of the things that for me personally when I was growing up is my uncle used to take me to the local arcade, and I used to load up on my $1 coins and put them in the machines. I'd play things like Galaga, Pac-Man, all those sorts of things. And the whole purpose of me playing those games was just to achieve a high score, right? Like that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to get my initials up on that screen. So the next time I came a week later or a month later, then I could quickly look, am I still on the high scoreboard? Yes or no? And that brought me so much fun as a kid. And I just loved it so much. And that's one of the things that I want to bring back into people's lives. So what we're doing is we're creating a members only section of our website, which will host a game. That game's going to have a high score that people are going to fight over to try and achieve that high score. If they do achieve it, then they will win a prize. And we're going to deliver it through seasons. Each season will be either a different game or a different version of the same game. And just to diversify it, increase the difficulty if we need to, things like that. And then, of course, we have merch that we're still sort of populating the website. So it's still early days, but the website's there and it's starting to be built. The reason why we have two websites as well is in these early days, we are expecting that there are going to be some negative people who are going to potentially attack our website. So we've put all the safety measures there for things like DDoS attacks and whatnot, but we do want to ensure that our resources are protected, our properties protected. And we've decided that if the worst case scenario happens and Shop Schmeckles is attacked by some type of cyber attack, that we can just shut down that website, ensure that we're protected, but then our information is still being shared with the community on our other website where the white paper is hosted, where all that data is about how to get invested into Schmeckles. So we just wanted to ensure that we had that extra layer of safety there. But potentially in the future, if we do get to a point where we feel comfortable with the safety and protection of our website, we will just sort of amalgamate them into the one website, but we've decided to keep them separated for now. So that's that fourth lot of 25%. It just goes towards development and the progress of our project. So of that 25%, really none of it's been spent just yet. So it's all been sort of out of the team's pockets to date. And we're happy to do that because we believe in the project and we know that we're not here for a short time, we're here for a long time. So all the benefits will be reaped in the future. That's the plan.
Yes, sir. Earlier I wanted to chime in and say that I appreciated you giving that, giving that insight or that disclaimer to people, to do their own research, and that there are people or projects on the ledger, with not the same means as solid projects like Schmeckles, right? They're on here to make a quick buck and to take advantage of the community. And we've already had one rug pull. So that is why I did pull up this page right here. And I think it's Xrpl IT in New Zealand. I think that's what it is, NZ.
Okay, there you go.
That's what I'm thinking. But and here's one right here that he recently found. I will have this in the description. But we're focused on Schmeckles today, and I appreciate James giving out that disclaimer and letting people know to just be cautious. And then also, I appreciate you mentioning how y'all have a relationship with a tax accountant, and that y'all are following all the regulations and you're doing all the necessary paperwork and actions required by by your country.
Definitely. And that really should be a set expectation of all XRPL projects. It gets difficult because obviously different countries have different regulations. So for an investor, it might be difficult to understand everything for all different countries and all different regulations. But as a standard, you'd want to be looking that a project is an actual business, for example. If it's not a business, then what does that mean? Does that mean that it's an individual's project? And that might not be an issue. They may be doing their tax through a sole trader investment or whatever it is, but it is higher risk, I would state. So doing your own due diligence and asking questions as well. Like a lot of these projects are open to communications. They're not sort of closed off. And if someone is closed off, again, that's another red flag. So engaging with a project and asking them the question, jumping onto their Discord, joining them on an AMA, or like for me, whenever I'm on a Twitch stream, I'm saying to people, ask me questions. I'm here. You've got my full undivided attention. This is the right time to ask questions. And some people do, some people don't. Some people are just happy to sort of sit back and observe and make their decision and minds up that way. And that's okay as well. But someone like me personally, I like to ask questions. I like to, well, before I invest in any projects, and this is not a Schmeckles comment, this is a James comment. Before I invest in any project, I usually will reach out to either an ambassador or someone linked to the project if I can't get to them directly, and just ask a few questions, a few simple questions really, but it just helps me to establish in my mind, who are they? What are they doing? Do they have the community's best interests at heart? Are they going to be here for a short time or a long time? And they're the sorts of things I want to know. A lot of my investments. So just a bit of insight about Australia. We have a capital gains tax. So if with your investments, if you withhold your investments for over a year, so over 12 months, you get a discount on your capital gains tax. So like day trading, for example, it's sort of taxed heavily here in Australia, which sucks. So what I do personally is I look for those long-term investments, things that I can hold for at least 12 months, which makes, I guess, my verification or my due diligence process a little bit different to maybe how some other people sort of do theirs. But I'm always looking for, what is that long gain? What is that gain in 12 to 24 months? And it really helps in my mind, at least, because I do have to go that extra mile to ensure that these guys are set up for something long term.
Definitely. Yeah, I got to commend you on reaching out to every project that before you invest in it, that you're very thorough. And that's definitely important in this space. This is the most volatile space available. But yeah,
Definitely. And I'll just to that comment, like volatility is not a bad thing in this instance. Like if there is some negative to take out of it, right? Like all of your investments on the XRPL, we don't really know what's going to happen. what I think was going to happen is on the back of XRP's victory, or Ripple's victory, I should say, over the SEC, is what I believe is going to happen. We're going to see an influx of interest into the XRP and the XRP ledger. And when that happens, we're going to see a lot of investors moving from different blockchains over into this new blockchain, which has regulation, which has potentially a positive public site, and even more further to that, with regulation comes corporate and I guess big business money into certain areas. And my views are, once Ripple gets that victory, then XRP is going to skyrocket, and naturally everything that's linked into XRP is going to skyrocket. So that can be the positive volatility. So the
Definitely.
positive potential for growth. But of course, like we've stated a few times, that volatility can also be very, very negative. A lot of these projects are starting up without a structured team behind them. A lot of these projects are starting up with not much finance behind them. A lot of projects are starting up and not black holing themselves, and they're just sort of building money and creating more tokens to fund their project as they move forward. There's a lot of different approaches, and it's not that anyone is right and anyone is wrong, but you just need to be cautious and educated about the way that project is moving forward, so you have that knowledge and you're able to make your personal sort of opinion on how they're progressing. And yeah, so the volatility, it could be negative, definitely, but it can also be very positive. And it's why the XRPL is so exciting right now. There is a lot of projects that they're getting massive gains, and there's that tool, I think it's called xpmarket.io. I'm not sure if you've
Yes.
come across it, but they've been doing a lot of really cool posts of late, and showing the gains of different projects. And I think it's excellent to celebrate the wins of the XRPL, but of course that's not the only way to sort of represent progress in a project. It's not all about the charts. It's not all about seeing those gains on the charts, because it could be like the trading volume could be nothing, and then just one purchase has driven up this this chart to show that they've made a 50% gain. But really, when you look at the volume of trade, it's like, okay, you've traded one of your token and made a giant gain, fair enough, but there's no trading volume there. So what is the actual information that I'm reading here? What does that gain mean? And I guess, yeah, as if you haven't noticed, I am a very thorough person. I am very determined about knowing as much as I can. And it's just, I guess, another layer to add to people's minds is dig that bit deeper, scratch away at the surface, and see what else is there. What is that information actually telling you? Does it mean the project is progressing, or does it mean that the project has made one sale with a very minimal volume?
Yeah. So James, I want to ask some more specific questions, such as what is your specified position in the team and how do you serve the community?
Definitely. So I am one of the creators. So there's myself and there's T. So T is not doxed. I'm becoming more and more doxed as time progresses. And I function as a project manager. So a bit of my background is I studied a degree in civil engineering. I majored in project management. I wrote my thesis on defect management. I came out the other side in construction and worked for a lot of different bodies, particularly government bodies, but found my home with the Department of Defence in Australia. Worked around Australia, did a lot of work with telecommunications, so a lot of like optic fibers and building data centers and things along those lines. And as time sort of progressed, I diversified what I was doing. So I sort of burnt myself out of the construction industry. I moved into personal training. I moved into a bit of mental health work. But in my spare time, I was always in either the ASX, so the Australian Stock Exchange, or I was looking into crypto. So that was around the 2017 mark that crypto sort of piqued my interest. And as the Schmeckles project has sort of come to be, I had to use the skills that I already had. So the project management is my baby. It's something that I have years and years and years of experience with really big clients and on massive contracts. So that's where I sit within the Schmeckles project. I am the project manager. I sort of pull all the strings and all the bits and pieces that are happening, ensure that all the subject matter experts that we sort of bring on board have the correct scope of work that they're going to deliver, and that they are managed correctly, that we're not getting ripped off, and all those bits and pieces. Of course, I also have a big level of engagement with the community. So I do run the Twitch streams. I also jump onto different Twitter spaces. So Too Cold Space, a big shout out to Too Cold. She's absolutely amazing. Her spaces have been providing the Xrpl with information for quite some time. And her spaces are actually pretty much 24/7, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But yeah, there's a lot of great projects that get involved on Too Cold Spaces. And I frequent those spaces, either as Schmeckles or under my own personal page. And I guess in other sense, a lot of what we've been talking about, like a lot of engaging with individuals on a one-on-one basis and just helping them understand either whether it's with what they're doing in their trades, whether it's just about projects and what to look out for, red flags and things like that, or whether it's just about Schmeckles and giving them some education or potentially getting some information from them. So that's another big part of Schmeckles is we are a community project. So we're always open to what the community has to say about where our direction is going or where things that they would like to see us do, for example. But yeah, so I wear a few different hats, I guess. I also spend a bit of time with our accountant and do all those bits and pieces and help with the books and numbers whenever I can. But yeah, I definitely don't get too deep into the development, even though I would love to educate myself and get into that as time proceeds. But I'm more of the, I guess, the string puller than the actual doer, if that makes sense. But I really am a big advocate, and I really feel like this is a comment that needs to be said, a massive advocate on getting the best person to do any one job. I could probably do most things with Schmeckles myself, and I'd probably half-ass them, and it's not going to be the best product for the community. So I would much prefer getting that expert who knows what they're doing, and ensuring that they understand what our expectations are, and then allowing that expert to then go spread their wings and do the best job possible. And again, that's to provide the best product for Schmeckles as a project, so that we do have that longevity and that we do not just cut off our own legs and provide something half-assed that's only going to serve half a purpose. We'd rather get that completely done, or bells and whistles if we can, and deliver that to the community and hopefully ensure that they are satisfied with what we're providing. But of course, we aren't, I said it earlier, we aren't pushing ourselves to the point where we're promising things that we can't deliver. And I guess another comment, I'm going to make so many of them, but it's just the Xrpl right now, it is young. And there are a lot of people that have very high expectations, and they will, like my inbox, or the Schmeckles inbox, I should say, will have comments like, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And of course, we want to listen and embrace as many people as we can, but we also don't want to put ourselves in a position where we are just abiding by every opinion and every individual's opinion, especially when it's not part of our direction. And we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're making promises that we can't deliver. We don't want to put ourselves in a position where we are potentially inhibiting some of the development projects that we're working on. We want to ensure that whatever we're working on gets the attention that it deserves. So I'll say it again, sometimes we have to move slower because of that approach, and that's absolutely okay. Some projects are going to move faster. Some projects are going to move slower. It's just the way it is. It's just part of a new ecosystem and people defining who they are. And then projects also need to be fluid. And this is something that I think is a massive comment. Schmeckles could sit here right now and say, this is our 5 to 10 year plan of what we're going to deliver on the Xrpl. But the truth is, we don't know what the Xrpl is going to be like in 5 to 10 years time. So to come out with that plan does not make any sense. And it's something that I've been adamant about with our team, is that we need to remain as fluid as possible as the environment and ecosystem changes and develops. XLS 20D is a perfect example. It's up on the screen now. We could have moved forward with the Sologenic plan and minted with XLS 14D, but we chose to engage with some of the developers. I spoke to people like Yoke. I spoke to other developers around the place. I watched as much content as I could. I listened to Matt Hamilton's Twitch streams. I personally did as much as I could. Of course, our developers are also doing that work, but that was what my due diligence was. And I wanted to understand, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the two different protocols, and what is that going to mean for the Schmeckles project? And and is moving forward and taking those shortcuts up front the right decision to make. And Schmeckles has decided, no, it's not the right decision for our project. Let's wait a little bit longer. There's no urgency. There's no timeline. We're not getting a gun held to our head saying this needs to be delivered by tomorrow. We're not part of some crazy corporation that has those expectations on us. We are defining our own path, and we're happy to wait. We're happy to be those patient few that sort of get that better product at the end of the day. And that's the decision we've made specifically around NFTs. But it's also our approach with most of what we do here at Schmeckles. It's just, let's get the best product. And if it takes a little bit longer, that's absolutely okay.
Yes, sir. I completely agree. I imagine some of those messages in the on Twitter were, "Oh, we need a metaverse by the end of this year," or "We need this."
Or like, "This project's doing this. Why aren't you guys doing that?" It's like, because we're not that project. And it's got to be hard for investors. It's such a expanding, like, extremely diverse ecosystem, and a lot of people set their expectations on another project that they've potentially made profit on, and that's okay. Like, it's good to have a expectation when you're investing and you're looking to make money, but making money isn't the be all and end all. And it's difficult when projects are trying to make real world sort of developments and really give content to the community that they're going to enjoy, while also trying to inflate the value of their coin. And those two things will align in time. But right now on the Xrpl, a lot of the time it's not aligning. And you'll see things like projects that have really amazing people working for them, some of the best developers on the Xrpl, even developers that are linked to the Ripple team. And the projects aren't doing well. And it took me a while to understand it, but it really confused me at the get-go. It's like, why aren't these projects doing so well if they're linked to these great people, these great developers, some of the people that have worked on Xrp itself? And it's just because it's so early, and it's just because so many people don't understand what is a good investment. People don't understand what's going on, and it's up to us. It's up to people like yourself and the videos that you're releasing and the information that you're releasing. And I know you've got on Xrp up on the screen, and they're starting to write articles and get information out to people, and all these sorts of platforms and ways to educate people is just fantastic. And it's so necessary at this point of the Xrpl, because having people understand what's going on, having people coming from a knowledgeable place will help them feel more comfortable, will relieve some of those anxieties and those nerves that come along with investing in these new spaces. And yeah, it's just, I just really hope for most people that they are doing the right thing by themselves. And all investments are a risk, especially in cryptocurrency. And it's one of the things that I love about the Zum wallet. And I'm not sure if the Zum wallet is something you're familiar with, but when you go and you open up the Zum wallet Dex, so it's an app within the Zum wallet itself, there's a 5-question quiz that you have to do, and you have to pass that quiz in order to even trade on the Dex. And we're in an unregulated space in cryptocurrency and in the Xrpl particularly, and to have that extra bit of caution for investors, where they have to, you need to know a little bit about investing before you can start trading. I love that. I think it's such a fantastic idea, and props to Zum and Weist and all those developers in that space for putting in that extra level of safety. And as much of that as we can do, as much education as we can give to the people, that's exactly what needs to happen now. And it's something that we do a lot of at Schmeckles. And I love the fact that you and Fiction do a bit of that as well. Like, I was watching a few of your videos of late preparing for this, and just to get a feel of how you guys deliver. And it's almost every single video you delivered some type of disclaimer, and it's just like, yes, this is what people need. And it's funny, because people that have been around since 2016 or 2017, or even earlier than that, I guess, they're probably sick to death of hearing it, because they've been drummed into them for so long, for years and years and years. They've been hearing it probably on the daily. And that's okay, in my opinion. I think if it's getting to the point where it's annoying people, that means the message is getting across. And we have to keep remembering that there's a lot of new people that are joining cryptocurrency as cryptocurrency becomes more and more public and more a household sort of ideology. And as more people start to invest and more people migrate over to the XRPL, it's all of our responsibility to educate them about what they're doing, about the risks they're taking, and that nothing is guaranteed, nothing is promised. I would love to sit here and say, hey, invest in Schmeckles because you're going to become very rich doing so. But making a comment like that is completely incorrect. It's completely misleading. Tomorrow we could have a solar flare and all of our electronics disappear. And there's no way Schmeckles could guarantee anybody's digital currency if all of technology stopped working. We could have a volcanic explosion. We could have something ridiculous. We could have an alien invasion. Who knows what could happen? The future is unknown. And the same mentality has to go with your investments. There's no perfect investment. There's no guarantee. It's all a risk. And you have to know those risks, because it's your money, it's your investment, it's potentially your livelihood. Another great comment that was drummed into me, and I'll repeat it over and over again, is don't invest any money that you're not willing to lose. And I'll say that again, don't invest any money that you're not willing to lose. So what does that mean? That means if you have your life savings in cryptocurrency right now, that's okay, but you're taking a mammoth risk in doing that. Cryptocurrency is still unregulated in a lot of countries. You can't hold XRP legally in the USA. Well, you can, but you can't. It's really weird, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that you just need to understand as you're investing. You need to understand that it is a risk. You need to understand that these projects, if they're making you promises, that's actually a red flag. If they're promising what they're going to deliver as a project, that's absolutely fine. But if they're promising you financial gain, something's going on there, and potentially it's a scam. Potentially it's a massive, guaranteed it's a massive red flag if they're promising you some form of financial gain.
For sure. Yeah. And we see a lot of these projects that are looking for, investors before they're even making their white paper, making their website, making their roadmap. And some of them make a roadmap, and the roadmap doesn't even have any clear objectives, doesn't even have any clear landmarks, like, okay, this is what they are planning to implement in the ecosystem. There was another thing that I was going to say. We were going over XRP, about the gray area. There will be clarity after the lawsuit is closed, and after Ripple is cleared of these accusations. We in XRP Army know that XRP is not a security, but goofy old Gary Gensler clearly doesn't. So
100%. And I would love to say a comment, worst case scenario comment. XRP becomes a security. That's a potential outcome of this, and we all have to sort of accept that it is a potential outcome. I don't believe that's going to be the outcome, but let's just say it is. If that is the outcome, okay, it sucks. It's not the best case scenario, but still you come out the other end with a cryptocurrency that has been subjected to scrutiny and has come out the other side with some form of regulatory advice, regulation, you may call it, but whatever you want to say, it has been it's been scrutinized by a government body, one of the superpower government bodies as well, coming from the United States. So you have a defined asset at the end of it.
Right.
With that definition and with that knowledge comes investors, because now they know what they're investing into. Now they know they have the support of the government bodies who are defining what it is. So here it is. This is what it is. Right now, there's a question mark. At the end of this court case, regardless of the outcome, there's also going to be a definition towards XRP. And that is what investors love, especially the big money, like the big businesses, the corporations, those sorts of people. That's when that sort of money will start to come towards the cryptocurrency industry. It does happen now in a lot of financial institutions, but it's only been a drop of what's to come. And I see it regardless. Whether this court case, there's a victory for Ripple or not, it's all only going to be positive. But of course, I do not believe it. to security. And I think this has just been an absolute joke, and especially with the latest COVID extensions to the court case. I was so shocked when that was processed and went through. It's just becoming a bit of a circus at the moment.
I guess it is an advantage to people that are looking to have more time. If they're investors of the ledger of XRP, they have more time to be investing in something that has murky waters and it's untouched territory for the retail market. But anyways, moving forward, we're going to be talking about some of the objectives of Schmeckles. So I see that you already mentioned that y'all are going to have your online shop where you can purchase the merchandise with Schmeckles, and y'all are coming out with a mini game where you can spin Schmeckles and win prizes.
Definitely. So the idea behind the mini game is, like I was saying earlier, so you're going to pay a small fee to get into the mini game and have access to that. And then within that environment, you will then be able to try and reach a high score. And if you do achieve that high score, it's going to be like a competition based. If you just think back to the early sort of 1990s, when they used to run sort of competitive gaming competitions for arcade-based games. So that's the same sort of vibe that's going to be around the Schmeckles mini game. And the high score at the end of a season will receive a reward. What that is, we haven't sort of defined it yet. It may be some Schmeckles, it may be an NFT, it may be some merchandise, it may be, I'm not too sure what it may be. So but that's the plan moving forward. And I guess inside of that environment, what the idea would be is, as that season ends, then that game becomes public. So it becomes anyone can come on and then try and get that high score, and it just sort of remains as a sort of a relic of what was of the previous competition. And then moving towards the NFTs. So the idea behind our project again is to bring that creativity and that youthfulness back into people's lives, and we've achieved that partially through these art competitions. So we've run our first art competition so far, and that was for pencil and paper art, and the winning artist received 1,000 Schmeckles, and then that artwork is also going to be minted as an NFT. And the idea is the winning artwork, once it's minted, goes back to the artist, and then the artist has that choice whether they want to retain it, whether they want to sell it, but it becomes their property. And the idea behind that is we wanted to create a platform for creative people to represent their art. We give them guidelines, of course, and we ensure that everything that's being done is their own work and it's an original piece. But we wanted to give them a space where they can potentially make a bit of money out of their work and create something that will be digitally stamped and around forever, and like creating that competitive nature as well gives them that those nerves and that real youthfulness and that youthful feeling of being in a competition and working against other people, and it also drives them to give their best work as they put forward. So some of the messages we've received from some of the artists has been like, I haven't felt this excited about doing creative arts since I was a child. And that's the exact sentiment that we're aiming for. It's really to bring that youthfulness and that childlike fun back into people's lives. Because let's talk about XRP investors, for example. Like, a lot of us have been on the sidelines just waiting for a very long time, and we've been getting really stuck into the serious nature of laws and regulations and court cases, and following people like Jeremy Hogan and Finland Law and it's just
John Deaton become, as well.
And John Deaton, what a legend John Deaton is. So like all these really serious sort of subjects, and I love the way Hogan sort of does it. He makes it fun, and his videos are just absolutely fantastic. He's just a legend amongst the XRP community. If you don't know about him, definitely check him out. But the way he brings that creative fun, like that's exactly where Schmeckles is thinking. And it's just, what can we do to really give people an advantage through our project, of course, and to ensure that the project looks good and is doing good things, but also to create a platform where people can show off their art, show off their work, show off their talent, challenge themselves, get back into that childlike mindset, and really enjoy themselves. So the first art competition went really well. The second one's underway at the moment. I think we have like over 20, 25 submissions. There's been quite a few, unfortunately, that we haven't been able to accept as a result of whether it's the best place to actually go is if you go onto the Schmeckles website. So we've got the white paper open. Click on that one, go up to the top, click on art when you're at the top, and then go to the computer generated, which is our current competition. So this is the current competition at the moment. So that's the pencil. There we go.
Goodness. There we go.
That's the one.
Oh, these
All
are
right.
cool.
So these are just people who are part of our community who are looking to be part of this competition. And it gets difficult at times because we need to ensure that these artworks are original pieces and they haven't stolen them from somewhere. So that's obviously for copyright reasons because they are going to be NFTs. So we've had to be a little bit hard on certain people, which has caused a lot of frustration. But it's just about original art, and we want to ensure that it is all original. It's the own person's work, so we can dub it fan art, and there's no copyright related issues there. So when they are minted into NFTs, we love when they're adding in the Schmeckles logo into the artworks as well, which is fantastic. And so for this particular one, it's computer generated. We've opened that up to video, so we do have that one video submission, which is really just sort of like a little GIF, but we are open to videos as well. This competition ends at the end of January, so there's not too much longer left. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of engagement, and a lot of creativity, like I said. So a lot of people are saying things like they haven't felt this creative since they were younger. So our next art competition that we're going to run in February will be open to all art. So that way we can get things like musicians involved, poets, maybe comedians want to get involved, but it also brings back that ability for people to do hand-drawn art or paint things. So again, it opens up the field a little bit more for types of art that they want to submit. Yeah. And that one on the left there, you can't really see it too well, but that was the winner from the pencil and paper art. So a guy called Krovax submitted that one. If you click through and scroll down on that page, you'll actually be able to see it in a bigger format. Go all the way to the bottom. There it is. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Little photo with the big mushrooms in the background. We really love that one. So that's going to be probably our first NFT, if not the second. We might do the Schmeckles logo as the first NFT. We'll just have to wait and see what we come up with.
Wow. Yeah, I love just how engaged you are with the community and how community oriented it is. The art competitions and getting people just excited to be a part of something and to participate in events hosted by the project. I know the community appreciates it.
Yeah, and we've got such a great community. So our community at the moment, obviously most people are English speakers, but we do have a really big Filipino and Indonesian following, which is absolutely fantastic. So a big shout out to those followers from Indonesia and the Philippines. And we also have a small Japanese sort of following that's starting, but they're probably our two major. And then, of course, a lot of Australians, Americans, Europeans who are quite happy just navigating through the English channels. But it's been such a great experience engaging with the community, and especially when I get the opportunity to engage with them verbally. I am a very people-focused person, so I like to talk to people in these sorts of formats. I do much prefer face-to-face, but of course, in these COVID times and with people scattered around all the world, it's hard to do that. So I appreciate whatever way I can. So during those Twitch streams, some people jump into the voice chat. So the way we do it is we have the Twitch stream up, but we actually run the voice chat out of Discord. So we give the community that opportunity to jump into the voice chat with us and to discuss any questions they have, or it acts as partially like a Twitter space, I guess. And we get people popping in every now and again and saying hello and asking questions, which is great. And we definitely encourage it. And I love to chat to people in that format, because sometimes people can be a little bit misleading in text, and they will say something that looks like a legitimate question, and they throw a whole bunch of naughty swear words and rude comments in afterwards. And why people do that, I don't understand, but it just seems to be a part and parcel of being a project on the XRPL, I guess. It's just there's certain people out there that just want to see you fail, and
Oh,
hopefully
that's any ecosystem. I tell you what.
any ecosystem, yeah.
But yeah, this is awesome that y'all are doing streaming on Twitch. You know, you really don't see many projects doing that. I don't even know if I've seen any other projects on the ledger doing it.
So we have they're called Park. I'm gonna butcher their name now. I think it's I can't remember the P, but it's Rowboat Society, I think it is.
Oh, Ape Rowboat, Pixel Ape.
That's it, Pixel 8 Rowboat Club. So they have done some Twitch streams, and they got quite a big following. They actually gave away some Schmeckles in one of their Twitch streams, and that's sort of where the idea of linking the cryptocurrency and XRPL world with the Twitch stream sort of came from. So I definitely am not going to say it's my idea. They definitely were doing it before me. I don't know if anyone was doing it before them, but Yoke gets involved on their streams. It's really fun. It's like they get a big group of young guys, and it becomes just becomes almost like a frat house in a sense. Like they're just all going crazy, drinking beers, just having a whole lot of fun. I guess the Schmeckles version is a little bit more PG rated. It's a little bit more calm and collected, but it's they're still just such great, engaging, sort of high energy sorts of giveaway mechanisms, and the community seems to be loving them. So we're definitely going to continue that as far into the future as we can.
Yes, sir. And I wanted to, I know we already mentioned the airdrops, but we have this airdrop upcoming for holders.
That's right. Yeah. So this will be 250,000 Schmeckles distributed. So the idea is you need to have at least 10 Schmeckles in your bag, and the more Schmeckles you hold, the bigger percentage of that 250,000 you will receive. We're going to be delivering it through a priority airdrop. So the people in that 40% or holders holding more than 1,000 Schmeckles will receive the airdrop first, and then it'll sort of go down through the tiers. But everyone will get paid. We'll ensure that all it's a snapshot's taken, and then it's definitely reviewed prior to the airdrop as well, so we can ensure that it's only people who are serious, and it's not those bots which are really getting a whole lot of XRPL tokens, unfortunately. But we want to try and prevent that as much as possible. So we have our own tools, and we have our own sort of vetting style for that. But we also use some of the tools that are around, I should say, are things like Arty, and then there's the X33 labs that have also released an open source tool. So we've sort of borrowed a bit from each, and then we're doing our own sort of process. But yeah, we're going to try and minimize those bots as much as possible to ensure that the community is protected, and that the Schmeckles go back to the community, as the project is all about, right? It's all about protecting the community. And then the value of Schmeckles is also up to the community, which is, again, one of those things that I touched on earlier. It gets difficult because people want to invest in a project where they're going to see major gains and they're going to make a big profit, and but they also they love the airdrop. So we definitely wanted to do the airdrop style so we could get Schmeckles away to the community. But as you can see there, around that December date where that big drop off happened, that was unfortunately off the back of our airdrop, and it was potentially part of the team's fault. So we will take some fault for that. We didn't have enough betting in there to stop those bots from getting involved in our coin. And as a result, we saw some negative price results, and there was a rebuild there, as you can see, but it's just never really refound its legs, and that's okay, because when I look at the volume of the charts, for example, like to bring ourselves back up to those levels high is not really that much. It's really just a matter of 2,000 to 3,000 XRP being invested into the Schmeckles project, and all of a sudden we're at $1. So I'm not too fussed about that. I see it more as there's day traders trying to make a quick buck, and power to them. That's absolutely okay that they're doing that. That's the whole point of having a decentralized environment, so people like that can exist. We've had some comments in our Discord from people saying things like, can you block that? Can you block this wallet address? They're trading so many Schmeckles and selling at a low price. I'm like, no, we can't block them. That's the whole point of having an open market. And again, there are some projects that potentially can, and that's part of being black hole. So Schmeckles is black hole. We only have 1 million tokens in circulation. And I'll go one further. We had 1 million in circulation, and we've actually had a small amount burnt by somebody in the community. I don't know who that was, but we're down. I think about 5 Schmeckles have been burnt. So there's less than 1 million Schmeckles in circulation at the moment. And as time proceeds, I can only see good things happening, but this is not financial advice. The charts are what they are. It is an open market. Schmeckles does not control the price. Hopefully the good things that we're delivering to the community will influence it in a positive way, but that's as much influence as we have on the price. It is up to the community and the investors to really dictate where that price goes. And I guess there's not too much more to say here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as y'all can see, they have a lot going on within the community. They're doing their Twitch streams, they're doing their art competitions, and they will be making NFTs of the community members' art, which I think is really cool because they get direct participation and direct benefits from that, obviously, because they're going to have the NFT and they can choose to keep it for themselves or they can sell it on the secondary marketplace.
Exactly right.
And just do a quick technical analysis of Schmeckles. As James stated, they had a run up for the airdrop, and that is where it fell off, right? December 7th.
Mm-hmm.
When was the first airdrop distributed?
That's a good question. Let me get you the exact date. 1 second. All right, so yeah, that the snapshot was taken on the 24th of December, and the airdrop began around the 25th of December.
Oh, y'all had 1 day in between snapshot and distribution?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so since the snapshot price fell, and then after distribution, it kind of just consolidated, and then it had a slow rise, and it's been on a steady decline since. But obviously, we know that markets go up and they come down. They're constantly grabbing and creating liquidity. And here we have a wick that comes all the way down. So if it was to continue, I'm definitely looking for this wick to get filled, this liquidity to be taken. And the next liquidity zone I see is right here. Retail traders would see this as a double bottom, and those that are trading this, maybe looking at it or likely looking at this as support. And so could definitely see that liquidity being taken as well. But Schmeckles is doing a lot. They're very I'll say it, I said it multiple times, I'll say it again. They're completely community driven. They care about the community and they just want an ecosystem that's very engaging and enjoyable for its members. And so if you want to participate in the community, then check them out. Check out their Twitter, check out their website. They have their white paper and they have all of their art competitions posted up here on their website as we've gone over. And yeah, James, any would you like to give a conclusion or anything else that you'd like to add?
Just wanted to say a big thank you to you, Michael, and to Fiction as well for reaching out. And anyone who's interested in learning more, if it's not out there in the public sphere, please just get in contact with the project. We're here to answer any of your questions. If you want to just engage with me on the personal level, my name is James Ray Xrp on Twitter, and I'm more than happy to chat to you as well. You'll see me around on spaces like Too Cold Space, for example. Jump in at any time, ask me questions directly. Happy to have a chat. And if you've got any other questions around investment generally, like away from Schmeckles, I'm also happy to chat to you about that sort of stuff. So we are here to support you and to help educate you, as well as to hopefully help you enjoy your time investing in cryptocurrency and investing in the XRP ledger. And I will say it one more time before we go, but do your own research and only invest the money that you're willing to lose. And I'm happy to end on that note.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much, Michael.
I thank you for your value to the community. I thank you for being so personable, answering people's questions and never holding back information that, people need and value and they use in this ecosystem. So we appreciate you, putting your best foot forward and being, at heart, a servant of the community.
Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Once again, big shout out to James Ray, XRP, and Schmeckles. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.